I'm doing a Q&A answering 10 questions. I've chosen 10 out of the IG stories questions that I got from everyone. Thank you so much for your love and your comments and your hearts. I appreciate it so much. Hi everyone, welcome. And thank you guys all for submitting for the dancer search. If you have submitted, you know, it was so many. I was like overwhelmed with so many beautiful, like amazing dancers of all different levels. And I wish that we could do, that's like my goal in the future, to be able to do something like this all around the world. So not just New York, something where I can travel and meet you guys and have some type of, you know, platform where I can create opportunities for dancers all around the world. That's something that I really feel I really want to do. So yes, we're just gonna go on with the first question. So many interesting questions I got, but number one, is it possible to pursue professional ballet part-time? I don't know if you've ever wondered this, because sometimes we think of professional dancing as just like a 24/7, and it is, especially a big company. It's a full-time commitment. You're there at the studio from the morning until the evening. If you have performances, you're there until, you know, after your performance, late at night. And that's just like every day, you know. And there's also companies that kind of do performances here and there, sporadically spread out throughout the year. So it's not a full-time commitment. I actually also am a part of a company like that too in the city. And whenever there is a performance, whether it be, you know, 4 times a year, whether it be 10 times a year, depending on the company, and you might meet up like once a week or twice a week. It might be you are meeting up every day leading up to the performance for like a few weeks or a month, but then after that you don't have that commitment after that. So it is possible to pursue it part-time, for sure. That can also be something if you're interested in that. If you want to go to school, if you want to pursue another field of interest, that's definitely a possibility. So let's go to number 2. This is a question from Maike. She's one of my private students now. And she says, you might agree with this. I don't know, let me know. But she says, why wearing tights over a leotard? It's just not pretty. ... Heart emoji. What do you guys think? Do you guys think, I think I made a TikTok about this earlier, about wearing a leotard first and then tights over. So that's like a fashion, you know, statement. There's also the regular, you know, tights and then leotard. Which one do you prefer? Let me know in the comments. But yes, I guess the popular opinion is that it doesn't look pretty. And it's so funny because I thought the same thing. I had never seen that before when I was in Japan, right? And then I came to the United States and I went to a ballet boarding school, Philadelphia. And then I started to see all these dancers. It was like the cool thing to do, wearing leotard and then the tights over. And when I first saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, that looks really ugly too. It's just, I thought it was odd looking, right? But then I kind of got used to the look, like seeing it every day. I got swayed. I got converted, and now I think it's really pretty, actually. And I think it makes your legs look longer because there's more of like the pink or like whatever tights you wear. Like, since like this part is also tights, I feel like it makes your legs look longer, if that makes sense. Yeah, you might not agree. Actually, also, when you're partnering, parudo and stuff, sometimes, you know how the leotard kind of slides up and then you get kind of like a wedgie? I don't know if you ever experienced that when you're doing like big lifts and then your leotard kind of slides or rides up. And with the reverse, if you're wearing the leotard first and then tights over, then that doesn't happen. So I'm all for it, but if you're against it, I completely understand. Okay, let's go to number 3. Okay, Ella says, I have a solo in about 3 weeks. How can I make it look neat, clean, and pretty? Good question. 3 weeks, so that's about a month. You know, you have a good amount of time. For me, cleaning up a solo, I think is, well, first of all, I think it's important to listen to the music very many times. So like, you know it like the back of your hand. I used to go to sleep listening to my music on repeat. So every time I listen to it, I can find different parts of the music, intricate details about the music, and kind of absorb it within my body. Another thing that you can do to make your solo look neat or clean is to break it up in chunks. For example, if there's like, 10 chunks within the piece, part 1, when you first come out, when it first starts, just focus on that part 1, or whatever is your weak point. Whatever you need to work on that chunk super slowly, not always rushing with the music, but breaking down each step and being like, okay, my heel has to be forward here, and then I have to go here. And then you might just practice that 10 times. Développé, and then piqué. Hold, okay, got that balance. Okay, again, développé, piqué. Balance, okay. I feel comfortable now. 3rd time, développé, piqué. Oh, I fell off. Développé, piqué. Right there. And then you kind of have to absorb that feeling into your body, right? And then when you can get that, let's say like you can get that perfect 3 in a row, then you move on to the next part, and you're like, you add from, okay, développé, piqué, and then chassé. Let's just say that's the choreo. Yeah, développé, piqué, chassé, right under me. And then you just keep on practicing that super slow. And then you just run the first part, the whole first chunk, without the music. Arabesque, piqué, chassé, attitude, and 4th. Other side, left, piqué, chassé, attitude, and 4th. Just go over the steps super, super slow. You have to be like a scientist. Be like, okay, right here, and then just feel that. It's all about the feeling, right? Repeat, but do it with a conscience. Don't just do it to do it 10 times. You know what I mean? With thought, being present within the step. And then after you do practice that chunk slowly and work on the other chunks as well, you can put it together. And then even when with the music, or even if it's faster, it's already in your body. Let's go to number 4. Oh, I added this question because I thought it was really nice. Hibiscus says, how are you doing? Smiley face. And I thought that was really sweet, because especially in a time of like social media and stuff, usually a lot of times it's like, oh, what is this? What is this? It's like a question or a statement or something, right? But like, to actually, like, if you're connecting with someone, if you're conversing with someone, I think especially in a time of a pandemic, I think it's so important to just be like, how are you doing? How are you? Like, I think that's such a simple but important question for us to like ask each other, check in with each other. It's just like really nice to ask people how we're doing. And yeah, I'm great. I'm good. I ran a bunch of errands. I got my fermented soybeans that I love eating, so that was a successful trip to the Japanese supermarket. And then I announced my dancer search winners, and just looking at all of your submissions, like really, it touches my heart to see everyone dancing. And, no matter the level, no matter, the age, I think that, just putting yourself out there and sharing, what you've been working on, I think is very touching, you know. Going on to number 5, Bree says, how do you get flexible? This might also be a common struggle or question that we get, we feel as dancers. And I also went through the same, it was like frustrating because I used to stretch. I told you guys this in a previous video, how much I stretch. And I don't recommend doing crazy amounts like me, but I think doing at least like 30 minutes of stretch every day is consistently is necessary if you're trying to really, really like, you know, be flexible. I mean, it really depends on your body type. It depends on the schedule that you have. But maybe 30 minutes every day, and it's all about persistence. You know, I know it gets frustrating when you're like, oh, I'm stretching every day and I'm not making any progress. But if you think about your body, you know, we all have different types of bodies, and sometimes we're just more stiff than others, or just like our bones aren't as like crazy, you know, as others. But it's just about the day-to-day work, and you have to kind of be in it for the long haul. Persistence is key. And also try to stretch with a positive mindset, because if you're stretching, while you're stretching and you're like, oh, I hate doing this, I don't want to do this, then you're like automatically telling your body to reject that stretch or what you're doing in that moment. So I think in your mind, it's good to imagine the type of flexibility, the type of dancer, the type of, you know, person you want to be while you're stretching, and keep on feeding yourself those visions while you're stretching. A similar topic, talking about stretching and flexibility. Let's go on to number 6. Number 6, this was actually asked in Japanese, but to translate this into English, she says, okay, 膝を全く曲げないで足を横に上げるには床と平行ほどくらいが限界です。どうしたらできるようになりますか? So when she's lifting her leg out to the side, no matter how much she tries, she can only get it to 90. So like parallel to the floor is what she's saying. How can she lift her leg higher to the side? For me, I think what helps for me is, can you do like, in Japanese we call it the Y balance. I don't know what you guys call this in English, but when you hold your leg like this and then you're standing on one leg and you balance like this. Anyway, so I would recommend at the bar, have one hand on the bar, and then with one leg go into that Y balance. And you can even flex your foot and make sure this hip is down, and then you're rotated, right? So in a nice, like, perfect, clean position. And then you would hold this position, feel the inside of your hip working. This hip, of course, not lifting up this way. You want to keep this hip down. Try to keep the hips almost perfectly aligned. Perfect is like difficult, but, and then you want to feel here the sides and the inside of the hip working, and the supporting foot connecting and pushing into the floor. You can have the arm help you, and then you can hold this Y balance for, let's say, like 10 counts. You can let go of the bar in an normal position like this, and then you hold it. And then maybe you can hold the bar again, and then try not to change this hip, and then you let go. And then you hold this. And then you slowly come down. So you're training your hip muscles to feel that extension, that strength. Number 7, how long have you been dancing and what is your favorite step? This is from Abby. First part of asking how long I've been dancing, I answered this in a previous video, so check my YouTube video for that. But the second part is, What is your favorite step? Comment your guys' favorite step. Let me know what you think. My favorite step personally is anything jumps. I really love jumps. Especially double tours, switch, leap, like scissor jumps. What else? Tour jeté, saut de chaise. Anything that makes me feel like I'm flying in the air, I love. And I also love beats too. Like quick, petit allegro beats are my favorite. Yeah, they make me feel like Superman or super person, superwoman. Okay, let's go on to number 8. Okay, now we're gonna get into a little bit serious talk right here. Amelka says, "How do I lose weight for my leotard to look good?" I completely understand how she feels about this. Do you guys ever feel this way? Sometimes we're just like, ugh, especially in a leotard. Like, not to mention, not like street clothes. Okay, I can I can accept. But then in a leotard, oh my gosh, I can't stand it. I can't even look at myself. You know, I've gone through the same emotions, feelings, struggles of like not wanting to put a leotard on. Not even, you know, sometimes when your teacher's like, you can't wear a skirt or shorts, that's like hell, you know? I've kind of talked about this in my Instagram stories. You can check in the highlights too. Try to start telling yourself that you love your body. Whatever it is that we're going through, I think it's important to just remind yourself, just even say it. Say to yourself in the mirror or before you go to bed at night, just be like, I love my body. I love my body. Thank you, body. And just even saying those words, I think that even in the beginning, even if you can't believe it in that moment, when you start continuing to say those words, your body will and mind will react differently and will slowly start to believe it. I mean, it is a process, but it's better than just kind of throwing it away and being like, oh, I hate my body. And don't say that, you know? Don't say that you hate your body, which is super important. Include healthy eating habits. Is also, you know, important too. I know sometimes we try to lose weight and then, you know, you think, oh, if I don't eat, I'll lose weight. And that's not how it is, you know. Sometimes, or most times, that's the opposite effect. Yes, Nala, love yourself as you are, even while you may be under construction. Under construction, yeah, I love that way you put it. We're always under construction, under the process, you know. We're not ever finished evolving, you know. So I think it's important to first of all, like I said, tell yourself that you love yourself and your body. Don't, whenever you catch yourself saying I hate my body, be like, oh, don't even be like, but I do hate my body. Like, yes, I understand. But I think giving yourself words of love is like really empowering way of controlling your body and your brain. So yeah, I hope that helps. This is a hard one though, because it takes time. Honestly, it takes some people longer, some people less, you know, than others, but a lot of us go through this feeling. So, going to number 9, Meg says, how do you overcome the stereotypes of dance, like weight and appearance? Me as a younger dancer, when I was a student, I always thought that, you know, oh, I have to fit into a specific mold. I can't change my height. I can't change, you know, my proportions of my body. I can't change the fact that I'm Asian, that I'm Japanese. First of all, learning to embrace that by going back to what I said before, always reminding yourself that you love your body. But also, I think it's important now, especially now. The stereotypes of dance, of course, is there. And I mean, the dance world, the dance companies are evolving. However, I don't think you have to be a part of a company to be dancing. You can create your own company. You can create your own creative projects. You have a camera, you have an iPhone, you have music that you can play. It just depends on your perspective, right? Maybe if there isn't a platform out there that will highlight the kind of person or group of people that you want to highlight, I think it is possible to create that, you being the person to create that as well. And that's kind of what I realized for myself. That's why I created Eureka Body. And it's just all about like getting out of that box, because we think, oh, it has to be a certain way. It has to be done in this way. And in reality, it doesn't have to be in that particular way. It's been done that way before, and we can also be a part of that way, but you can also branch out from that and create your own way as well. Yeah. And when I realized that, I was like, oh wow, I can just create. I have a phone. I can create this on my own. You know what I mean? This is the last question by Lily. What is something you stand by in your life? That's a good question. I think something I stand by in my life. There's a lot of things, but I think the one that jumps out at me is being grateful, being connected to the feeling of gratitude. Because honestly, when I was younger, I remember just being like, oh, whatever, It's so easy to be like, oh, I deserve everything in the world. And you do. I'm not saying you don't. You do. But that feeling of gratitude, of not taking everything for granted, taking one ballet class and being like, wow, thank you for my teacher, thank you to the bar, thankful for the floor, the Marley floor that I get to dance on, thankful for whether it be my parents or my grandparents or whoever who paid for this class. Taking it back to why you're able to do the things that you're able to do right now in that moment. Like, that's a powerful feeling. And when you can connect to that feeling of gratitude and appreciation, I think that makes you open your eyes to like so many more different things in life. And also that is motivating to me as well. Like, oh wow, my parents actually, they work so hard and they were able to give me, an opportunity for me to take these classes. Let me put 100% of my work into this class as well, so I can give back to my parents someday, so I can make something out of this class. So I think that connecting to that feeling of gratitude is something that I will always try to connect with. Yeah. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again. Bye.